click to continue. You click to continue. It's a hard math problem. You either solve it or you can click give up. And as soon as people click give up, which they totally will, then you say, do you accept the terms of the agreement? People will just click, 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 and fill out all the information on the profile. So with a little bit of misdirection, you can completely get rid of people's semblance and worry about privacy and security. Hello, my name is Guthrie. I'm here talking about behavioral economics, and today's topic is all about privacy warnings and how to basically get people to ignore privacy warnings. Now, you've seen warnings and disclaimers about this in all sorts of businesses, right? When you sign up, for example, let's just say I'm not the benevolent version of Facebook that you all know. I'm actually in an alternate universe. I'm an evil version of Facebook that basically just wants to steal all your data. So how would I do that? You have to, by law, it has the list of privacy, who we can share your information with, what we can do with it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let's just assume that the goal of us, evil Facebook, evil Google, is to take as much of your information as possible. How can we use behavioral economics and brain science do that? Now, that may sound like an evil goal, but it is important to understand that it can work if that's what you want, or how to protect against just such attacks. We've definitely seen recently, when it comes to all sorts of attention grabbing or dubious ethics, that there's what I like to call a race to the bottom of the brainstem. I did not invent that quote. I stole it though. So where lots of companies want to get as close down and use behavioral science as fast as possible to take advantage of people as much as possible. So in a paper called Sleights of Privacy by Adjarid, Acquisti, and Brandemart and Lowenstein, and I'm really sorry about the names there. They were basically trying to figure out the effects of a privacy notice. So they ran a couple of experiments to see if they could kind of get people to disclose more or disclose less. And they had sort of, think of it as a Facebook-esque sort of portal where people could go and they would disclose various information about themselves. And I'm going to jump straight to experiment 2. So they were trying to get people to disclose a lot of information. And they were told they were participating in a research study to create an online social network and were asked to create a profile in a college setting. So they'd have to disclose lots of information about themselves. All the juicy details, think of all the things that if you were the evil Facebook, the evil Google, that's exactly what you'd want. So for example, I have here, they would then mess with how people interacted with the disclosures when they were signing up. So in the control condition, right, they would just have you sign up, you get the disclosure being like, we're going to use your data for X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Do you accept, right? And, that's, I don't know about that. So in the control, the disclosure rates, which is, again, how much information was provided, was significantly less when they were presented with a riskier privacy notice. So when people were confronted with a privacy notice that said, we're going to use your data for this and this and this and steal it and sell it and all that stuff, people disclosed less. And that actually makes a lot of sense. So here's the fun part. They were able to, and just for you, for your guys' information, the disclosure rate was about 0.5, and then 0.7 for more risky. So that's the difference, right? We're talking, and you don't have to worry about what those numbers mean. You can read the paper for that. But so from a 0.5 to a 0.7 in disclosure, when presented with a riskier privacy notice. So the researchers were able to make that entire difference completely disappear using an old magician's trick called misdirection. And basically, I'm going to quote from the study here. In our second experiment, we found that the downward impact of riskier privacy notices on disclosure can be muted or significantly reduced by a slight misdirection, which does not alter the objective risk of disclosure. So what is exactly that misdirection? So in the same study, they would have people fill out, the get to the privacy notice form, and then they would have to be inconvenienced. For example, one of the times they would just have participants wait 15 seconds with a blank screen. Now, 15 seconds on the internet is forever. So you basically have, this is what we're going to do, 15 seconds. Do you agree? And the people got bored and they just went ahead and filled out the profile. The ideas about privacy and I don't want to disclose and are they going to sell, they completely forgot about it, which was really pretty great. My kind of hunch is that this sort of misdirection, and they did a couple other misdirections, and I don't need to get into too many others, but basically, whenever you had a misdirection, especially if you could jump them up to keep them in System 2 thinking instead of System 1. And again, System 1 thinking is our natural state, breezy, light, what's my face doing? It's smiling. That's System 1. System 2 is, what's 17 times 13? In your head, calculate it now. That's hard. People don't like to stay there. And when you give someone a privacy notice with complex language and that kind of stuff, they have to jump up into System 2 to understand what it means. And the more they jump up into System 2, the less they want to be there. So, if you make them wait for 15 seconds, if you give them, honestly, if you just gave them a hard, puzzle to solve, I'm guessing. So for example, this is if you really want people not to agree to a privacy notice and just not think about it, or agree to anything, right? That is maybe not in their best interest and not think about it. Have them say, "Here's the thing," and then give them a hard puzzle to solve. And if they and basically say, do you give up working on the puzzle? And when people click, yes, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard. This is System 2. I don't want to do this math problem. They click give up. And then right after they click give up, it would say, press, this big green button, press to continue to accept the terms versus, and then the other button, it wouldn't have to be small. You don't have to, even if just one was green, one was, red, if you wanted, even if you wanted to make it even, which you totally shouldn't. But let's just assume you're trying to be nice. One big green one, yes, I agree to the terms. So what people are going to do, and they didn't do this in the study, this is just what I think would really, really work, is you give them, here's the privacy notice, click to continue, you click to continue, it's a hard math problem, you either solve it or you can click give up, and as soon as people click give up, which they totally will, then you say, do you accept the terms of the agreement? People will just click, 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 and fill out all the information on the profile. So with a little bit of misdirection, you can completely get rid of people's semblance and worry about privacy and security. Now, you may think to yourself, that's very, very unethical, and it very well might be. But hey, I'm just the economist. What you guys do with this is completely up to you. And you really should, especially, we've been giving a lot more talks about ethics, the ethics of usability, the ethics of behavioral design. It's obviously a very hot topic. Probably the question we get asked about the most about these topics. But just because you maybe shouldn't do something doesn't mean that that's not how the brain works. And so again, we have a great paper here demonstrating how easy it is to get people to just agree, and not only agree, but then fill out a profile with all of their personal information. So once you can just get people past that initial hesitation, either by jumping them up to System 2 thinking and then they wanting out and not wanting to think anymore, or by making them bored, making them wait, whatever it is, if you can do that, then people's worries will just go away and they'll give you all your information. So alternate universe Facebook, alternate universe Google, who just want to have you agree to everything, rejoice. It's easy to do, and that's the simple way that you could do it. Have fun being evil.